Hello
And welcome
to Series
Us,
the place where we review
the shows that you choose.
and we are your hosts, Tony Mitsinga
And Daniel Dawkins, and today we're going to be talking about
AMC's The Walking Dead.
the Series 5 finale, episode 16.
Conquer. Warning, this video may contain
Spoilers.
so let's
Get
serious.
Surely you can't be serious.
Are you serious?
Why so serious?
AMC's The Walking Dead was aired in 2010, developed by Frank Darabont, who's brought us movies such as The Shawshank Redemption in 94 and The Green Mile in 99, plus many more.
Now, The Walking Dead originated from a comic book series with the same title, created by Robert Kirkman back in 2003. Also in 2003, Robert Kirkman can be known for his works for Marvel's Zombies and The Invincibles, which made its first cameo appearance back in 2002.
The Walking Dead is an American horror drama set in a post-apocalyptic world filled with zombies. We follow our main character, Deputy Sheriff Rick Grimes, played by Andrew Lincoln, who finds a group of survivors and leads them through this hellish nightmare.
Now, this genre dates all the way back to 1968 with the iconic Mr. George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead. If you haven't checked Night of the Living Dead or The Walking Dead out, then you need to pause this video and go do that right now.
The Walking Dead is set in Georgia, Atlanta, where we follow our survivors all the way towards Washington, D.C.
Now, a group has stopped in Virginia. They have found home in a local settlement known as the Alexandria Safe Zone. We'll be talking a lot more about this a bit later.
Now on to the latest episode.
Let's go.
So we started the scene with Morgan inside a car. Morgan, played by Lenny James,
That's
inside a car with a lucky rabbit's foot, smiling. Seems to have a clear mind.
Yep, we see him, which can only be presumed as him having breakfast, while he's interrupted with a man brandishing a gun with a W on his head, which of course can be revealed that he is one of the wolves. Now, in this scene, obviously, a little bit happens that lets us know that Morgan's been on a bit of a journey. Now, my question is, where did Morgan get his staff?
That staff was really nicely carved.
Beautiful.
Well, you said it was wilted, didn't it?
Yeah, it looked like it was not wilted, whittled.
Oh, okay,
whittled. Yeah, whittled, and obviously it's been shaven and polished. It's a lot of work looks like it's gone into that.
Because when I saw it, the top part looked like a baseball bat. Then we got this curve like that, and then we got the bottom part which looks more like a stake. It's like that medical symbol of the snake.
That's
what I mean? But where did he learn these Jedi moves from? Like he literally. What did you say he was acting like?
He reminded me of
Book of Eli.
Yeah, I think it's Eli. I think it's the character's name.
Eli, played by Denzel Washington, played spoiler alert, blind man, following the word of God. But yeah, definitely he was this friggin'
Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, martial artist.
Yeah,
he literally came out of nowhere. That was just like. And then how did he get a clear mindset? Who helped? Who gave him the staff?
What happened? What I want to know is
what happened on his journey.
Yeah, why did he leave the town?
Who trained him?
Everything.
How did he get a clear mind? Literally, how did Morgan grow? That is the main questions, I think.
So Daryl and Aaron finding the man in the red poncho.
Yeah, they've gone out of Alexandria to search for good people, to recruit more people. Basically, they spotted the man in the red poncho and they're discussing amongst each other whether or not they should recruit him.
Exactly.
And then they end up losing him and end up outside this factory. Mm-hmm. So what happens at the factory?
At the factory, they have a bit of an ultimatum upon them, which is obviously to continue looking for this man or to basically give up and say, look, there's food here, let's take this back home. So they go with the second option and go to get this food. Obviously, they find themselves in a trap.
Well, the thing is, Daryl sees... The thing is, we notice two things with that. The hang-in tins...
That's right.
Which, as we know from previous episodes, is like an alarm system. When the tins start rattling, we know someone's coming. So that means people were there or are there or have been there already.
Exactly.
We also notice Daryl noticing... the bottom of the lorry, noticing there's no lock on it. So from there, from his facial expression, what I got was that he knew it was a trap. Mm-hmm. He knew something was up. So initially, Daryl's slipping.
What's going on, Daryl? We're supposed to be the man.
So the trap goes off, and they end up running away from zombies.
That's right.
Aaron loses his bag.
City boy.
Yep. And Daryl somehow picks up a chain and licks off 3 zombie heads.
That has got to be, like, for me, that is definitely, like,
one of the best zombie kills.
Top 3 zombie kills.
Yeah.
CGI was on point.
Was
on point. I love that.
That was some Spawn stuff.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. That was well good.
Chase.
And then Aaron's machete kill straight after was pretty good as well.
Yeah. And even him trying to kill a zombie with a freaking license plate.
Oh yeah.
A license plate kill, you know.
Whoever knew Alaska could be useful, eh?
You know what I mean? License to kill, like literally. And then they obviously get trapped inside the car, which is something we wanted to discuss.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the note. Before we even say anything, there's the note.
note.
Before we get to the juicy stuff.
It was like written in different types of ink. And
yeah, so
blood, I think.
Yeah, I saw ink and then blood towards the end. You know, don't stay, bad people coming.
Yeah, you know, who put it there? How did they get in the car? How did they have time to write the note and pull it inside the the gearbox, whatever it is?
Some sort of glove compartment.
Yeah, somewhere down where the gears were. You know what I mean? It's like who was in the car beforehand. Also, them being inside the car together was a bit intimate.
Yeah, that's to say the least.
Yeah, even, you know, obviously we're reading more into it because Aaron is homosexual, but also you was going to say about Daryl as well.
Yeah, well, I feel like we've not seen Daryl with anybody. You know, we've seen his closeness with Carol, even though I personally feel it's more of a mother-son relationship than anything more sexual. Maybe you could even argue the case of him and Beth at previous points, but we've not had any confirmation of his sexuality. And, you know, Daryl's a bit of an outcast. He's very reserved. He's very quiet. So I feel like the show, the AMC is really playing on that right now. I wouldn't say Daryl is gay and they're gonna make him have a gay scene, but I feel like they're really going all out, if you will. They're just breaking boundaries.
For reals. And also, was he going to sacrifice himself?
Yeah.
That's another question.
Okay, so now we're getting to the more comical side of the episode. Well, in my opinion, Sasha and Gabriel.
Yeah, Sasha's freaking glaring eyes and Gabriel's sad.
Yeah, you know, you know, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, if you will. Right. So, who should we start with?
Sasha.
Okay, Sasha. Little Miss Loco.
Yeah, Miss. Basically, she's like a second Tyrese now.
Yeah.
Instead of being full frontal melee, she is the distant shooter. She's hunting down the zombies, and in this scene we see her laying with him. Yeah,
so she's gone from one extreme to the other. You know, like she's broke. There's no other way to say it. She's broken at the moment, and yeah, she's gone hunting zombies, and thinks in this episode, you know what? I'm gonna take these zombies I've killed, and I'm gonna bury them. And then I'm going to lay down with them. So, as weird as that was, I'm assuming what they were trying to show was, you know, the fact that she feels dead inside. You know, she doesn't know what her purpose is anymore. She doesn't see the point. What is the point of carrying on? I might as well be one of them.
Precisely.
But obviously she doesn't want to be, or she would be.
Now with Gabriel, we see him go outside the gates and without any weapon. And he's basically ready to sacrifice himself to a walker. Presumably over the guilt that he has over his past experience of why Rick's group found him in the first place. You know, he locked his people out of the church and they died and he survived. But you know, for some reason, the zombie has a noose.
A noose, yeah.
A noose around its neck, which gives him opportunity to actually defend himself. You know, his survival instinct kicked in. You know, what is this? What is this self-pity about? I mean, I swear it's every episode.
Practically every other episode. Every episode that has Gabriel in it for more than 5 minutes is of him moping.
Self-pity.
Almost getting people killed.
You know what I mean?
You know, and in this episode, he almost got people killed.
Yeah, he left the gate open.
What's going to happen to him? How is Alexandra going to deal with that? What's Rick going to do? What's Diana going to do?
Exactly.
So Sasha's gone to church for prayer, asking for forgiveness, and Gabriel has literally told her no, right to her face, and told her that it's your fault why Bob and Tyrese are dead. Sasha, even in her rage, calls him out and says, "I know what you're trying to do."
Yeah, basically, you're trying to get me angry
Yeah.
to make me react.
But still succumbs to the rage and pulls a gun out on him.
Yeah, he wanted her to kill him. He basically wanted to die, but he didn't have the courage to do it himself. That's why he tried to sacrifice himself to the zombies. That's why he tried to rile Sasha up into killing him as well. So next up we have Glenn and Nicolas. Nicolas I call Weasel because I can never remember his name. Nicolas is responsible for the death of Noah. Long story short.
Yeah. Now this is a really tasty bit of the episode for me. I really love this. I feel like it was one of the main segments of the episode for me. Now my thing is Mr. Weasel, Mr. Nicolas. You know, this guy, you know, we've nicknamed the Weasel, so you know, this is somebody who's very fearful, someone who would rather run from a fight than have one, you know, forget everybody else as long as I save my own skin.
Basically.
Now in this episode, I see a different side of him. Although he didn't show it the right way, he is, to the audience, not to the characters of the show, but more to the audience, I feel like he's actually showing some character, like he's showing some qualities, you know, like, yeah, okay, he's a weasel, he's a coward, what he done was wrong, but my man, he thought, okay, I see Glenn, yeah, and he didn't do something stupid. What he done was all he did was go outside, and he made sure that Glenn either heard or saw him.
Yep, that's right.
You know,
that's right, because you were saying how for someone to be a true coward, they would have listened to Glenn, been shook and stayed indoors, isn't it?
Exactly.
Rather than bait him out and literally shoot him and try to kill him off. But you know, what other questions do you have? Oh, why didn't Glenn kill him?
yeah, that's got to be the big question.
Shut up!
Now for me, what I try to remember is that Glenn isn't Rick.
No,
You
that's
know?
right. That's right. That's the contrast right there.
That's for me that kind of speaks for itself, because Glenn isn't as warped to the new world as Rick is. He isn't as accustomed to it. You know, Glenn was one of the later people to kind of fall into line, if you will. You know, so my opinion on that is the fact that, well, Glenn must sort of respect Nicolas to an extent. In my eyes, I feel as Glenn, maybe respect is too strong of a word.
Yeah, that is a big word.
But okay, look, you hear Glenn say, "I told you how it was. I tried to tell you how it was, how it needs to be, and you didn't listen. Yeah, you wouldn't listen, and now you tried to kill me." Like, I feel as though Glenn, even at that moment, realized that he not brought it on himself, but he kind of did. Glenn didn't have to go that way about it, you know?
He was grieving over Noah. This episode literally brought up Noah's name on more than one occasion. Glenn was literally trying to save the guy. Then the guy tried to kill him. Glenn was ready to kill him, but he didn't do it because, as we tried to talk about at one point, they're trying to preserve. Some of them are trying to preserve their humanity,
Yeah.
which is what Glenn was doing. Glenn was trying to preserve his humanity. So let's talk about Abraham and Eugene. This, well, for me, was the comical
Okay.
scene. Literally, Abraham walks through the door and he sees Eugene and he's like, you know what, I'll come back later. Rosita's like, don't worry about it. And Abraham sneaks in and we know what's going to happen. Rosita drops the tray, waking up Eugene, and then they have a nice little talk.
That is correct.
So what happens in the talk?
Well, in the talk, what I think happens, what you really see, is obviously what happens is that they kind of, you know, sort of differences. But what you really see is that Abraham hasn't actually been angry at Eugene for quite some time. I feel as though he's been over that for a while. What's going on with Abraham is that he actually feels really guilty for how he attacked him. It's not the fact that he struck him; it's the fact that he beat him up near to death. You know.
She brought up here. I almost killed you.
And as Eugene said, there is that.
There is that.
You know, Eugene has explained to Abraham that I am sorry as much as I am grateful for being here. You know, I am really sorry and I'm really grateful that I did what I did because we wouldn't be here. Yep. You know, and I feel like Abraham knows that. I feel like Abraham knows that within himself.
Yep. So literally, it was, you know, Eugene saying to Abraham, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. And Abraham saying to Eugene, if it wasn't for your lie, we wouldn't have come here in the first place. You know what I mean?
So it's kind of like bygones be bygones.
Yeah.
And let's move on.
So they made peace. So I think our question is: are they going to be really close friends? Are they going to be best friends?
Yeah, because since that's happened, minus I think the journey back. I can't remember where they was at the exact moment, but there was a journey back, I think, to the church or something. But since they've known the truth, since Abraham's known the truth, you haven't really seen them together. So are they going to be back in arms? You know, Eugene's now prepared to take out zombies. So are we going to see a lot more action from Eugene? Like, what is going to happen next season?
Exactly.
Okay, so now it's let's go to Carl and Michonne. Now Michonne, you know, never really gets that much dialogue, but I mean, this episode was no exception. She barely said anything. She just sat there with her arms folded for most of the episode. Well, that was stupid. You know? Yeah. So Michonne, let's go start with Michonne. Why not?
Well, you know, we mainly see her in basically 3 scenes. We see her talk to Rick as he's been arrested, whatever you want to call it. You know, we see her in the campsite where, you know, she says, you know what, Rick is this, Rick is that, but if you're lucky, you'll end up like him. And then we see her at the end scene after this episode's finished,
Reclaiming her sword.
So I think our question is, why?
Yeah. What does it mean? For me, I feel as though it's all about acceptance. So she earlier on in if I'm not mistaken, it was this episode. She said, "I don't need my sword." She said she specifically said,
I no longer need my sword. That's what she said. We don't need them, and I no longer need my sword. That's what she said to Rick.
Not that I don't want it, but I don't need it. So for her to pick back up a sword, for me, is more of I accept who I am, you know, where I've came from, sort of thing.
Because the sword is a part of her.
Yeah, it is.
Literally. And with Carl we only really see once, and that's when he talks to his dad.
Literally a paragraph, I think, is what he got to say.
You know, Rick comes home and he's like, "Carl, stay home," and Carl's like, "That's what it is, right? Home." You know, it's literally the first time they really come to grips with what it is, and like as you were saying, Rick listens to Carl. You know, Carl was saying you've got to talk to them so that they listen, rather than going batshit.
When it's always come down to it, I feel like Rick's always listened to what Carl. When it comes to dealing with people, he normally takes Carl's word. Like, he's had Carol in his ears, Glenn, Michonne, and now Carl's spoken to him. Obviously, Carl's point of being in episode last week was to tell Rick, this is what needs to be done. Like, tell them, because you don't want to kill them. We don't want to kill them.
Basically.
We want them to be a part of our family. They obviously want us to some extent, or we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, so you gotta make them listen.
Yeah, make them listen.
So the next scene, the next 2 people I want to talk about are Carol and Rick. Okay. Starting off with Carol. Obviously, we first see her visiting Rick. Literally telling him not to say anything without actually saying it. Basically, she lied. She didn't tell them about the other guns.
No, she didn't.
She made out that he done it on his own. He paused, reacted with body language, and then went along with the story. Obviously later that's revealed to show that, you know, she didn't want to reveal it to the other group in case they tried to stop them. There's a kind of a trust thing going on. She wasn't fully aware if Michonne was on their side or not. Neither was Rick, because, you know, you did kind of knock me out in the back of the head.
Well, I think it kind of you really have to look back at the previous episodes to kind of understand the mindset that they're in, where there's been a lot of conflict within the group/family along the journey, having to make hard decisions.
Yeah, Michonne stepped in and tried to stop Rick. Glenn stepped in to try to stop Rick. So, you know, there's always this battle of leadership.
Yeah, where Rick goes too far.
Yeah, what they should actually do, you know what I mean?
Now, something we've seen for a while now is how far Carol's willing to go. And what I think you're really shown here, if you've been paying attention, is that she doesn't really have a limit. She will do whatever it takes.
She will threaten a little child with the longest dialogue that I've heard of a threat in my life. And that was a few episodes ago.
That's still there, man.
That was long. But with Carol, one of my questions is that part where she threatens Pete's that part right there. Did she push him on purpose? Because later on we see what Pete does to, is it Reg?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, for me, again, going back to Carol and how far she's willing to go, she is the strategist of the group.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure we've been discussing and you mentioned that. Yeah. So she's like the strategist. So for me, whether or not she did is not necessarily irrelevant, but I felt like if that wasn't the reaction she was going for, she knew by saying that he would do something. Maybe not to that extreme. It could have been something a lot smaller, but she knew.
She knew that he would break, but she didn't know that he would literally take out Reg.
Because I'm not sold by the fact that she came over there to threaten him, and cook him dinner. Right? The worst kind of threat you can get. Just
put a knife to his throat and gave him dinner.
I think it was lasagna or something.
I want the dish back clean when you finish.
Wow. I just don't think she did that just so he could go and tend to his wife. Like, Rosie was a trained paramedic or whatever. Like, she could have fixed her up. Do you know what I mean? So
very true.
I feel like she went over there to start something.
Yeah. So with the whole strategist part, what Carol has two sides to her: the sweet, vulnerable, fragile woman that she portrays, obviously because of what she used to be, and now this manipulative, sadistic, like almost like she wants to kill people. We see her at the camp talking about how people like her, the character she's portraying as innocent, need people like Rick, the guy who's willing to do what it takes to make sure that everyone survives.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so Rick, woo, where do we start? So we are
waking up.
Yeah, well, Rick wakes up from a daze laughing.
Why was he laughing? Why was he laughing? That literally Michonne asked, "Why are you laughing?"
And his response, I'm not gonna quote him, but for me, his response,
like the train and the car, I'm still there.
Yeah, so for him, it's like, wow, I'm shocked. Like, wow,
did you really just knock me out? I'm like, is this what we're talking about right now?
I feel like he knows he needed it because at the end of the day, although Rick and Carol and Daryl have got this little scheming going on. Like, Rick doesn't want to kill anybody in the town. He doesn't. Like, if he wanted to, they would be dead already.
He's convinced that they're not going to listen, and he's planned it out. He said it. If they don't do as we say or whatever he says, we'll slit their throats. And he said it so calmly, like it was normal.
Yeah, that was what we need to do, but we're going to try this out. That is the way he delivered it. Was like, we need to kill them, but we're going to try and save them because basically, we have to.
The amount of times they said it, more than
they've said it since they've got there. Like, if they can't get down with us, it's ours. Like, this place is ours.
Yeah, literally.
And the longer they've been there, I suppose the people within the town have grown on them, and
our way or no way at all. Literally.
Yeah, his reaction to Carol. We didn't really.
Oh that's true. Yeah. We
that
didn't talk
pause
about that.
was one of the longest pauses I've seen in TV and movie history. I mean, like, Carol was like, "Well, that was stupid." He's like, "Huh?" She's like,
he's literally looking at her like, "What do I do now? Do I say, well, hold on, you was part of it. You got guns as well, or it's like, I see what you're doing, but why are you doing it?"
Yeah, because I feel like for that scene, not only did the actor have to be like, okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but it had to be known that was what he was doing, because that kind of an expression could be like, okay, Andrew just forgot his lines for a moment. No, he was really thinking, Carol, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But he goes along with it, and
later on,
he tells Michonne, he comes clean with Michonne. Like, that, for me, that's a big deal. For me, I feel like what Rick's been missing for a while has been contrast, because he's been scheming with Daryl and Carol. Now we know Carol doesn't have boundaries.
There you go.
Rick doesn't really have Rick is now living in the realm of no boundaries. He's willing to do whatever it takes now, because he's tried so hard to have boundaries and to give people chances, and every single time he has, it's gotten people killed.
Precisely.
So he's had enough, and the whole point of this has been to show that they still have humanity. They still need to have some sort of humanity, and he's hanging on by a thread. So if he had spoken to Glenn, this is why Glenn and Michonne and Carl didn't know what was going on, because as he said to Michonne, you could have stopped me.
Precisely. But
And
all
he didn't want to be
she
stopped.
showed him was an alternative.
Exactly.
Of basically making them listen. You know what I mean?
Once he actually spoke to them, Carl and Michonne, you know, he actually got the not result, the method, the solution he was looking for, basically, you know, which is talk to the people, but make them. The point is to make them listen. Something will happen. Don't make it happen. That's
what Michonne says. I like that line. That's a good line.
Don't make it happen because things will happen.
So, friggin' hell, Rick's reaction to the gate being open. Obviously, we just see him look out the window and he freaks out. I knew that he was looking at the gate. We see him run to the gate. He sees it open. He closes it. He sees the undead blood trail and he hunts it down. My question is his thought process, because I initially thought he wanted to protect his family. Literally, he saw the gate open, protect my family. That's what I thought was going through his head. Not like, oh, if I do this, then it's going to result in X, Y, and Z for my trial, if you want to call it that, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's my first question. What was his reaction to the gate?
Well, I think, he saw the gate. Whatever he was thinking before he saw the gate was gone. He saw the gate and saw we're under attack. I need to defend my home. I don't think he thought, let me save like my people and forget Alexandria. As far as he's concerned, they're his people. That's his home. So whoever's in there is his family. Yeah,
because he could have done it differently. He could have just left it. He could have been like, and you know, he let them get overrun and show them how to take them out.
Yeah, or he could have literally like more or less stalked them, let him kill somebody from Alexandria and be like, see, told you.
Exactly.
You know, but he hunted them. Don't know why it took Rick so long, but whatever. We'll try.
Well, we initially, when the gate was open, we didn't know how many got in. So I think it was 4 or 5, maybe.
I saw him kill 3. I saw him kill 3, yeah. I thought it was only 1, but then all of a sudden he was fighting quite a few.
So he killed 3 or more zombies. He managed to get them all in one place. I don't know how he did that. For me, there should still be 1 or 2 somewhere else, but he managed to get them all in one place and take them out. And the way he
silently,
did it, silently, and the way he did it, especially with the gun through the throat, that was just
up into the So he basically pulled the zombie's head off with a gun.
Yeah.
After he killed the zombies, obviously, you know, you're clear. You know, he's taken care of the threat. He can think again. So he's done the first thing. I need to make sure everyone's okay. I don't think it was a case of let me show off my trophies. It was a case of I need to make sure everyone's safe.
Oh yeah.
He's come in and been like, look, this is exactly what I'm talking about.
This is what I want you about.
No one was on the gate, and look
what happened.
Look,
exactly.
No, I didn't bring them in. Why would I do that? If I wanted to bring them, I would have shot you already. Like he tells them, I was thinking about how many I had to kill in order to save you. Like
how many of you?
Yeah, how many of you?
Yeah, how many of the people? Of
humans, the living.
Yeah.
So wait, before we get to the latest episode, this is a review after all. So let's rate the program.
Yeah, we should give it a score out of 10, 0 being terrible, 10 being perfect.
Okay, so I'm gonna start off and I'll say I think it's around 8.
8.5.
I'll go on then. Why not?
8.5.
8.5 Ricks.
8.5 Ricks. Carl!
Carl!
Yeah, picking up where we left off, the final scene with Rick at the campfire with everyone there. Rick drops the zombie onto the floor, saying to them, look, this happened. The gate was open.
Yep.
I didn't do it. No one was guarding it. You need me. Long story short. What happens next?
Well, he tells them to change. That would be the rightest thing. He tells them to make a change right now.
He has a speech.
He has a big speech, and not a moment too soon, out comes Pete with Michonne's sword, which we all know is just disaster.
I didn't even know it was Michonne's sword. I just thought it was a machete.
Oh, I knew it was Michonne's sword straight away. Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes. And I recognise that white handle anyway.
The white handle.
The white handle.
Yeah, for real.
I was just like, okay. My question was, who? And for me, it was pretty obvious.
Who was going to die?
As soon as he come out, I was like, he's going to kill somebody.
Yeah, and it was obvious it's going to be Reg because Reg stepped into him.
Yeah.
Reg stepped.
Reg
stepped and said, "No, you don't have to do this." And then Pete done some next.
All Pete did was basically push him.
Yeah.
He didn't like try and kill him. It was total accident. All he did was push him, and when he pushed, he swung the knife.
Yep, literally.
Naturally. And, you know, this is Michonne's sword we're talking about. This isn't some katana you just picked up from your local shop.
This is Michonne's samurai blade, you know what I'm saying?
You know, so we know that is sharp with a hiss. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. And then we see what I was saying at one point. Carol almost treating Rick like a dog. Basically, Rick goes to shoot after Abraham apprehends Pete. Rick goes to shoot Pete in the head after Pete has killed Reg, and Carol says no. And for me, that's like, yeah.
No, she told him to wait.
Not yet. She says not yet.
Not yet.
And like for me, that was like telling the dog, wait. And then obviously we have Deanna, the leader of Alexandria, turn to Rick and say, do it. And that's like saying to a dog, kill. You know what I mean? Literally. Rick, at that moment, for me, Rick became like a dog.
Like a guard dog, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. For me, I feel like it's Carol being the strategist again.
Yeah, they straight up.
Like, that, if you're talking about kind of speaking in a patronising tone, you know, it wasn't the first time she's done it that episode. You know, the whole you can't have both.
Oh yeah.
You know, she's obviously been in this very patronising storytelling kind of mode since she got to the town. But I feel like she saw the situation happening. You know, going by what everyone around the town's been saying, it's almost like all of the elite. So your Glenn, Michonne, Carol, Daryl, even Maggie, because Maggie's been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. But like, they know that something's gonna happen, you know. So it's really a case of stop over anticipating, stop making a preemptive strike.
Yeah, that's what Michonne was saying.
Yeah, wait for the right time. So
precisely.
Rick saw Pete was a threat. Yeah, regardless of whether or not Pete killed Reg or not. For what Pete was doing, Rick would have probably pulled his gun out on him anyway.
Exactly.
To be honest, right? But what Carol was really trying to say to him was just wait.
Yeah.
Just and look, he waited not 5 seconds. And he got the order. He did get the order.
He got the order, and then we see Morgan, and the contrast is so amazing. Morgan, who we've seen at that point where Rick is now, we've seen him broken, torn, and ready to kill himself. He's now arrived, clear-minded, not killing people, and the first thing he sees is Rick execute someone in front of a circle of people, and Rick is just blooded everything, and Morgan's clear, clean, and this frigging guru or something, you know what I mean? This martial artist. So that's it from Series Us.
Don't forget to click the thumbs up, subscribe,
and comment. And remember, this is the place where we review
the shows that you choose.
So let us know what TV series we should review next.
This is DDTM signing out.
What?
Daniel Dawkins, Tony Mitsinga.
Nah, man, TMDD.
DDTM.
TMDD.
DDTM.
TMDD.
DDTM.
TMDD.
DDTM.
TMDD.
You know what?
You decide. You know they're gonna pick mine.
They're gonna pick mine. It's DDTM.
It's TMDD.
Trust me, it's DDTM. It's DDTM.
TMDD. You can't even say it properly.
Exactly, it's DDTM. What are you talking about? Well, Glenn must sort of respect Nicolas to an extent. Respect Nicolas to an extent.
Shut up. I don't belong. Shut up!